Hi guys, look, I'm making um homemade garlic cheddar biscuits. A person, one of the key life skills is to know how to cook and bake. For me, baking is relaxing. Here I added two cups of all-purpose flour, and I added 2 tablespoons of baking powder. Okay, now we're adding the cream of tartar. For those people who don't know how to cook, bake, this is what cream of tartar looks like. Okay. Now we have a few more items to add. We did a flour, baking powder, cream of tartar. Now we need to do sugar and we need to do salt. So the sugar and salt is again half a teaspoon of sugar and half a teaspoon of salt. You know, baking is so relaxing because I find it more relaxing than cooking. Personally, I don't mind cooking once in a while, but personally I find baking just relaxing. And if you're trying to woo someone, like in a courtship or a relationship, it's always good to know how to bake or cook. And even if you're making a video and you film it publicly and someone you have a crush on sees it, maybe, hey, but don't look at me. I can't promise you anything. Now I did this sugar, now we have to do the salt. This is the salt right here, okay? Half a teaspoon. And make sure it's evenly, you see? You see? And just like that. If it says mix, I'm going to use, not a whisk because it said mix, I'm going to combine the thing using this, okay? You see? Just want to nice and mix and nice and neatly, okay? And this is lifestyle, baking or cooking. It's essential because if you're living on your own or you have a partner, you should know how to cook and bake. Say, for example, you're married, okay? Your partner loves to cook and bake. But what happens if one day they get sick from a flu and they can't cook or bake? And you have a child, or you don't have a child, but you're living with your partner. It's your turn. You need to know how to cook and bake. And sometimes it's good to know how to cook and bake because it gives the person, your partner, whoever you live with, a break. These are also one of my father's favorite recipes. He likes when I make these. These are very yummy. Okay. Ah, yes. Now we have to add a half cup of butter. We have to use this. Now give me a second so I can find it. No, it's somewhere here. I always know where it is. Ha ha. Well, I can't find it right now, but I will get in a second. But first, let's deal with some butter. And we'll be right back. Now we're back. Look, this is a half a cup right here of butter. I used it last week when I made my chocolate chunk cupcakes. I've been making that quite a bit recently, and surprisingly. Now, if for those people who don't know how to bake, here it has measurements to tell you where to cut. So like, there's a section for a cup. This is half a cup, a quarter cup. So we want to cut here. Okay, so let's get a knife. Okay. Now, when you are cooking or baking and you need butter, in some instances, what they will ask you to do is to, like in this case, they're going to ask you to use a pastry knife, okay? I don't have that. But what I am going to do is I need a plate for this. Is you need, I'm going to move this out of the way for a second. You see, you want to cut into small cubes. And when you are using butter, in some recipes, they ask you to keep it out to make it room temperature. And you know what? Baking is relaxing because, you know, with everything being going up in price and being expensive, this can ease your tension and help you relax. So here it says, using pastry blender, 2 knives, cut in butter until crumbly. So I'm not using 2 knives, I'm using 1 knife because it asks for a 1/2 cup of butter cubed, okay? I'm gonna drop it in here, okay? And you know what, for some people, if they have a partner that can cook or bake, it's a turn on. Like, it's really sexy. Not even that, it's fucking sexy. But hey, what can I say? Stir in the cheese and the green onions and slowly add the milk. Because we added this, I added 2 forks because you want to mix it in with the flour. So you want to squeeze it down. You see what I'm doing? Squeeze it down. Okay. And if you want this recipe, feel free. I'll take a picture of it and send it to you. I have no problem with that. It's also one of my favorite recipes. I have a few favorite recipes like the chocolate chunk cupcakes, the garlic cheddar biscuits, my family favorite Italian meatloaf. That one's interesting, that meatloaf recipe, because it doesn't take an oven. It takes a slow cooker and it takes 1 cup of shredded Asiago cheese on top. Okay, you see how I mix it in all together? Now we need to do this. Because it said, so stir in the cheese and the green onions. So the green onions I bought last week. We need a 1/3 cup. So let me get a 1/3 cup. Friends, this is what a 1/3 cup is. Because you can see here, it says a 1/3 cup. Now I'm going to show you what green onions look like. And when you are cooking or baking, sometimes you're going to need a cutting board, which in this case I am going to need a cutting board. So for now I'm going to put the bowl there. I'll get back to the bowl in a second. Let's clean up the mess that I made. I did make a mess, I'm sorry. But you clean up after. So that's part of the job system. They asked for a 1/3 cup of green onions. Whenever you're cooking or baking something, always make sure you take off the label, which I did, and the elastic. Look, this is what green onions looks like. So I'm going to cut it right now. So what you want to do is, you have to make it, you don't want to cut big pieces. You want to make small pieces. Now, we need a third cup. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get rid of these. That's just me. Okay? I'm going to take this and add it in, okay? And whatever green onions here, you could add the rest because I don't want to waste food, okay? So I want to not waste food. I'm just going to go like this. Now I'm going to take the spatula and mix it. Okay? And I'm banging it here, I'm going to put it here. Now it also said when you add the green onions, stir in the cheese. So I like to do it, because it asks for a cup of cheese, I like to do this. Okay, slowly at a time I like to, but it all fell, but that's okay. I like to mix it in like this, all evenly, you know, so the thing can get evenly amount of cheese. Why do people wear aprons when they bake or cook? It because they don't want the clothes to get dirty. So I like to do this. I like to go. Okay. Now because I added that in, we need to add one last thing. 1 cup of milk. So I'm going to go get the milk. Stay with me. You know, I realized I wanted to get a milk. So I said, why don't I just snap it in? So watch. It's here. Always follow, when you're making a recipe for the first time, you want to always follow the instructions. So here, I'm following the instructions. I've done this before, but still. It said slowly add the milk. So what I'm going to do is pour the milk into 1 cup. Okay, it's add a cup. Okay. Before we continue, I'm going to put this away. Give me 1 moment. It says to slowly add the milk. So what that means is, okay, I still have milk left over, and I'm going to slowly add the milk. Now it's asking for the recipe is to take 2 forks and mix it up when you slowly add the milk. So we added the milk, so let's slowly add the milk. Okay? Now I'm going to add the remaining milk. Okay, now I'm going to put this here. Now it says a soft dough consistency. It says lightly knead the dough. This is when I made this for the first time several years ago. This is the first recipe ever made that you need to knead the dough. Okay? I'm just letting you know. So I'm going to pause the video so I can set up the next part of the section, okay? Watch. And I'm back. You see how I have flour? Because when you're kneading the dough, you're going to need flour to make it not sticky so you can knead it properly. So I put the dough, and I'm going to use my hands now. That's what it looks like. Because the dough is ready. Oh yes, I do remember what I did with haha. Ooh. Well, I'm right-handed. This is going to be awkward, but I'll try my best. Now I'm going to knead the dough. Kneading the dough means you're using your hands. So what it is, because I have flour, you want to take the dough and go like this. And if you need more flour, that's fine. Yeah, you see, I'm already relaxed. I'm pumped actually. I haven't made this in a while. So you do what you can. Okay. And I'm going to add a little bit more flour. See, I'm kneading the dough. Also, by adding a flour, it also helps when you do have to roll it out that you're not sticking it onto the rolling pin. You see, I'm Ukrainian, so a lot of the Ukrainians, they like to use two types of rolling pin, either the marble one or the wooden one. My dad has both. It's whatever suits or whatever you have. Sometimes you may want to use the marble one, but it's in the dishwasher, you know? You see, when I pick it up, not a lot comes off it because that means it's helping to stick because of the flour. There is another section that we're going to need the butter for. You're going to find out in a second why. And you're probably thinking, man, this guy hasn't even used any garlic. Yes, there is a section here that we're going to use the garlic, and you're going to find out in a moment, okay? Okay, I'm still kneading the dough. Just a little bit of touch more. Yes. Then we're gonna go get the rolling pin in a second. Okay, now I'm gonna go get the rolling pin now. I think this is quite nicely. Okay, so let me go get the rolling pin. Just give me one moment. This is the rolling pin I was telling you about. People have wooden ones or marble one. My dad has both. You see how this is rolling? It's not sticking, it's because of flour. So let's do this. Okay, you see? Now I'm rolling. One of the things I like to do with this recipe is whenever I bake, it says what? To hold together, roll out in a 3/4 inch or 2 centimeter thickness, cut into squares. You know what I like to do? I don't like to cut into squares. I have a cookie cutter that's in the shape of a bell, and that's what I like to use. So why don't I get all my cookie cutters? I'm gonna move this out of the way. Now, I'm gonna lift this up. Personally, I like the bell. You can use whatever you want. I'm just looking for the bell. So you tell me what kind of cookie cutters you would like to use. I'm very particular in mine. And it's always fun to have a cookie cutter. Because, you know, you use it to make different shapes. If I can't find the bell, oh, I found an angel, a star. Oh, I found it. Here it is. This is a cookie cutter in the shape of a bell. Okay? So why don't we... Look, perfect bell. Okay? Perfect bell. I want to know, do you find that you are dating someone, do you find it attractive for them to know how to cook or bake? And also, do you like cooking? Do you like baking? I want to know, what do you like more? Personally, I like baking more. The next thing I'd say, I like barbecuing more. Cooking, not so much. I do when I have to. And people always wonder, well, what's the benefit of cooking and baking? Well, the benefit of cooking and baking is you can control how much you want to put in. You can control the amount of salt, the sugar. You can make something that's not overly sweet or underly sweet. You can make something that's not too much sugar, not very little sugar. I like these because it's nice. It goes with soup. You can have it as an appetizer, you know? And that's just personally me. Now, I'm going to put this down now. But what about the other, like, then all you need to do is you take this again and you roll it. Okay? Make it into a ball. I'm rolling out the rest of the dough that I have because technically this recipe makes 12 biscuits. And one thing people don't realize, this is the only recipe that cooks at a very high heat. Look, it says preheat the oven to 450 Fahrenheit, 230 Celsius. That is very hot. So when you are baking this, my advice to you is make sure you have the fan on above the stove and make sure you have the door leading to the smoke detector closed, because at a high heat this may cause the smoke detector to go off. This is a video I've been planning to do for a while and I just wanted to get your opinion on it. And this is one of my favorite recipes. Okay. This is great for appetizers, having it with soup, and sometimes you want a snack. Actually, what they recommend is, because I know here it says to make 12 biscuits, what they recommend is you make 2 batches. So in total, it makes 24 biscuits. And people go, well, why? Because you make 2 batches. The first batch is for you to eat. The second batch is for you to freeze. So down the line, say 6 months later, you're craving biscuits. You don't have to go make it because you already have some frozen until the next time. Which is good to know. Hey, Opa! I'm allowed to be a bit silly. Oh, wow! Are we making we're using some cheese. Boy, I'm Mickey Mouse. Must be so proud.
I'm Cookie. Can't you make cookies?
To be honest, when I do make desserts, I prefer, honestly, cupcakes. Simple, easy. There's a trick that people don't realize. When you're making cupcakes, what you do is you put rice in the muffin cup tins, then you put the baking cups in it. So when you bake the cupcakes, the rice absorbs the grease, the oils, the liquids, and makes your cupcakes come out, and the bottom of the cupcakes look cleaner and neater. one is, oh, okay, good. I didn't cut that one properly, but that's okay. Listen, it's okay if they don't look perfect. You design it the way you want it. Doesn't have to look special. There's some recipes that have to look special that looks nice, like a beef Wellington, which I made. But the other thing too is the other recipe, like this one, you don't really have to make it look very fancy, you know. Now, Now, what am I going to do now? I'm going to wash my hands. I'm going to move it to the tray, and then once I'm done moving it to the tray, then I'm going to add the topping, which you will find out. So come, the other thing too is when you are baking, I'm almost done baking. When it's in the oven, I'm going to start cleaning. Put the stuff I used away. So that way when it comes out clean, you know, it's already clean. I don't have to say, oh, I'm gonna wait till the end, and you know, by the time it's finished, you're exhausted. No, do it right when it's in the oven. Okay, so let me wash my hands. Okay, I just washed it. Now it's time to cook it. For those people who are not know how to bake, I'm going to teach you some common things. Right here in my hand, this metal thing is called a cookie sheet. This is what the sheet is. So when someone said, oh, pass me the cookie sheet, they meant this metal pan. Now we know. The one thing I always hated when it comes to cooking or baking is cutting the parchment paper. I was always so lousy at it. But that's just me. So let's get the parchment paper. If you want to know how it's parchment paper, it's the paper here. It says parchment paper. So what you do is I'm making it. Now let's add it. Now we're adding the baking the garlic cheddar biscuits because I haven't made them in a while. Because last week I made chocolate chunk cupcakes for my coworkers, and they thought, my dad thought these biscuits I'm making will be for my coworkers again, and I said no, they won't. Okay, now I'm gonna put these down and get the next tray going. Okay. Yep. Now we have to make the topping. So how do you make the topping? Well, let's follow the instructions. So for the topping, it said, topping in a small bowl, combine the melted butter, so 2 tablespoons of melted butter, and a 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder. Now, watch this. We need 2, this is a tablespoon. So when you're making it, okay, 1 and 2, okay? You're gonna see something cool in a second. Now what it asks for is the garlic powder. So what I like to do is melt the butter and get a 1/4 teaspoon. This is what garlic powder looks like. This is what garlic powder looks like. I have my 1/4 teaspoon. I'm gonna put the spoon away because I'm done using it. Now I'm gonna set the oven to bake for 450. Every oven's different, so you have to, when it says when it's ready, you just have to judge it. So when 450 rolls around, you look at it, you judge it. Now, the other thing you do is take a 1/4. Ooh, this garlic powder is hard. That's what C said. No, I'm kidding. Okay, good. I got a 1/4 teaspoon. I like to mix it in. That's what gives it the natural garlic flavor. I put it away. And the other thing you need now is this. Oh, I found what I was looking for. A brush. Because you're gonna have to brush the that's close. You want to brush the thing. So for example, when I mean brush, you see me have this here. So I take this, take the brush, dip and look, I'm brushing. Okay, now let's get the next tray. I'll do the same thing. This topping goes on twice, and I'll explain why. Because you have to bake it. Now watch, I'm going to explain to you what it does at the end, how you use it. Okay, in the recipe, give me a second, let me get the recipe. Because in the recipe, it says, In a small bowl, combine the melted butter or powder and brush the biscuits with half of the mixture, which I did. Bake for 12 minutes or until starting to turn brown. Brush with the remaining mixture and bake for an additional 2 to 3 minutes. I like to do, it said, I like to do 12 minutes and I like to do 3 minutes. It's a gas stove, so it heats up a lot faster than an electric stove. That's the benefit of having a gas or electric stove. In the meantime, while we're waiting, I'm going to move this out of the way. And I'm going to do us a favor and start cleaning. While we are waiting for it to heat up. I'm going to leave this out for a second. I don't think cookie cutters can be washed in the dishwasher. So, yeah. Everything I use is going to go where it needs to go. So, like here, I did not use this. I thought I needed this bowl. I guess I did not need it in the end. I did use this. I'm going to put the spatula away. I'm going to put the cheese grater away. Everything I've used. The only thing I won't put away is I will wash this by hand in the microwave, in the dish sink. Sorry, I see TikToks where they call a washing machine a dishwasher. I'm like, no, it's not. So I guess I'm taking after their lead. Okay. I'm going to put the garlic powder away. Okay. I'm going to take this and wash it. Okay. Oh, let's move this out of the way. I'm going to put this away too. Then I'm going to take this with a knife. Now, there's two ways I'm going to like to clean. First, I like to use my hand like this. Okay? Okay? Oh, I did use this. I'm going to put this away. And the other product the other item I was using too, which was sugar. Yep. So now I'm going to clean this, and I'll be right in a jiffy. See? I'm using a scrub because you got to clean, you know? You want to make sure it's clean. And every oven's different. Like my old oven, it would beep to let you know when you reach the desired temperature. You set it 350, it'll go right away. And when you reach, say you set it for 12 minutes, when it gets down to 12 minutes, like it's done, it'll go beep, beep. This one you have to say, I set it 450, then I have to click start. Then when it reaches a minute, it beeps to let you know, okay, 1 minute, you have 1 minute left. Then it'll beep when it's finished the 1 minute. Okay? Now, I did use some other products, not product items. So, like, I'm going to put this away. And you see, I like the bell, so you don't have to use the same cookie cutter that I did. Use whatever your heart desires. If you want to use something different, that's totally fine. It's whatever makes you feel most comfortable with. I'm not here to judge you. And if you think I am here to judge you, then no, I'm not. I just want you to have an enjoyable experience doing this, okay? Well, the oven's still preheating and it's getting really steamy in here. So let's just see how everything turns out in the end. Which I know it will. But remember, I haven't done this in a while. Surprisingly, I remembered a lot of the steps. It came natural to me. Which I was quite surprised in my honest opinion. Now, we're going to wait for the oven to beep, okay? So in the meantime, when it's ready, when I put it in the oven and take it out, I will show you what it looks like and then put on the next round of topping and then I'll show you the end results. In the meantime, we'll be back after this break. And we're back. I just want to mention, do you hear that? That's the first part done. Now we have to do the next part, okay? Now this is a very tricky part and I want you to come with me for a minute. Okay, I'm going to put you down. Okay, now watch. I'm going to open up. Okay. These are what the things look like, the biscuits. So I am putting the second part of the sauce on. Yeah, it's a bit hot, but I can handle it. I'm gonna start it myself. Now I'm done, semi-done. I'm gonna push this in. I'm gonna take the other ones out too, like this. Okay, the liquid is done. So then all we need to do is push. And then set for another 3 minutes. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm almost done this video, but do something that makes you happy. That's the outcome of this video. Like I told you before, my hobbies. I like bird watching. I like fishing. I like nature photography. I like smoking cigars, tobacco pipes, mini cigars. I bought some mini cigars yesterday, actually. But I like baking. It relaxes you. It brings you joy that you need. And that's the important thing in life. Don't be one of those jackasses who are always so negative in life and pisses people off to the core. Like, why are you negative all the time? Who the hell knows? But don't be. That's all I recommend. Live life to its fullest. Okay, friends, I want to show you something if you may not see, but here we have 3 minutes left for the garlic cheddar biscuits. They say you cook it for 12 minutes or until they look golden brown. And when you're preheating the oven, don't be one of those people, okay, preheat the oven, stick it in. No. If it says 450, preheat the oven, which I did. After 450, boom, I stuck it in. Then I let it do its thing. I stuck it in for 12 minutes, Shorty took it out, put the brush on, and that was it. It's as simple as that. So when the biscuits come out, I'll let you see the end results and you tell me what you think. And yeah, and remember, I like Family Matters. in the scene, there's a quote from Stephen Q. Urkel, who's played by Jaleel White, who's playing his other alter ego, Stefan Urkel. He says the number one rule of life is be a little romantic. Yeah, cooking and baking can be romantic. If you cook or bake for your partner, it's the most beautiful thing you can ever do. It really enlightens. Did you hear that beep? That beep just means it's going to be ready. So in a minute, I'm going to take my biscuits out. I'm going to let it cool for 5 minutes, and then I'm going to taste it. Let's see how they look. Oh, I'm excited. And I'm excited for you guys to see it, okay? And listen, if you're baking or cooking, make sure you wear an apron. Doesn't matter what apron you wear. You can get one that has unicorns, golden girls, Ukrainian writing. For my Father's Day gift a few years in 2022, when I came back from PEI, we gave my father a Father's Day gift that said, Father, it said, Dido, Apostos artiste. In the Ukrainian language, Dido means grandfather. Okay? Oh, it's ready. Let's find out how it is, okay? I'm going to turn it off. Turn the timer off. I'm going to check with the oven light first. You see, oh, they look ready. They look stunning. They look beautiful. Just watch, okay? Now I'm going to turn the oven off. And when you're grabbing things for safety reasons, don't use like, some people like to sometimes grab a dish towel or something else. Use the proper things that you use. For heat protection, use an oven glove. Now watch. I'm going to take this one out. I'm going to put this one here. I'm going to take the other one out, and I'm going to put it in here. Okay, I'm going to move this out of the way. I'm going to push this here. I'm going to turn the oven light off. I'm going to ask you guys to come and join me for a second. Oh, I'm going to pull the tripod closer. Look at these biscuits. They look so yummy. They're actually to die for. It's the easiest recipe to make. Do something that makes you fun. Shake it up. Bake something, you know. And like I got from Dollarama, the spatula, it even makes sense. Life is short. Mix it up. As always, the inside is out of the house. Bye-bye now. Bye.